Mason?
Steve,
the one?
Steve Mason is the goofy-handed guy who's allergic to the puck.
Steve is the one that's in Winnipeg.
Winnipeg, yes.
Chris was the one that played for the Preds for a long time,
yes.
right? Was there another one?
I swear to God, I
There
thought
was
there was
Bob-
only the one Mason.
There was Bob Mason, who was a goalie for the Canucks in 1991.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't count.
more
We were
recent.
barely alive then.
We're barely alive
Mason
now.
Raymond.
Oh, we get a lot of shots. Everybody come to their net. We just have to get more and more pucks to the net.
We used to talk about in Vancouver getting pucks on net and
Pucks on net.
Well, that's the key. We got to get the puck on net.
What were you saying about putting pucks on net?
Continue to put pucks on net and
it's just getting pucks on net.
Pucks on net and driving and making it a hard night on them.
Live on tape from Geeta's apartment, her palatial estate on the 23rd floor. This is Pucks on Net, a Vancouver hockey podcast. Doesn't talk about fantasy or fancy stats. And as soon as the music starts, Geeta gets up away from her perch to do... Oh, she's getting tea. That's fine.
Odds and ends.
Wanna...
Duads. Things that people do in their home.
We got a full bench this week. PMAC, we thought you were dead on the IR.
He
I'm
lied
still
to us.
kind of dead. I didn't lie.
He's
Geeta doesn't trust me. She has trust issues.
Paul was never vaccinated,
lie
so
to
he
me.
heals really quickly.
I can't hear anything right now, so...
I told you, if you can't hear anything in the headphones, to just roll with it.
I don't think we can do anything about the fluid in Paul's ears, Ryan.
Somebody made a remark about me, and I was angry I couldn't defend myself.
I was saying that you were never vaccinated as a child, and that's why you're sickly.
That is not true. I am pro-vax.
Anti-vax. He's an anti-vax.
I was actually shipping a couple pucks at Shoppers on Sunday, and a woman came by that worked there, had a big bowl of candy, and she's like, "Here, have some candy. We're giving away flu shots."
Wait, you took candy from a stranger?
Yes, because I'm a grown-ass man, and I can do whatever I want. Anyway, I was like, "Oh, free."
He swallowed 4 razor blades.
Why do you think this podcast is starting so late?
You were in the ER all day.
The last time I took candy from a stranger, I wound up getting beat up by Hugh Jackman. So, good things come from that.
You just want to tell that story.
Oh, I love dropping that nugget.
Yeah, watch that on YouTube. Thanks for joining us wherever you got us from. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at PucksNetCA or PucksNetCa. Thank you. And if you want to support the show monetarily, we have a couple people that did that this week. So a couple thank yous. Did Neil?
No, did we now?
Yes, we did.
Neil, if you're out there listening, and I know you are,
Yeah. Patreon.
give us some fucking money.
Neil's a millennial.
Oh, there's your whistle.
Yeah, there's
you
our
didn't
whistle,
want.
yeah. Try and do this one take, but what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Come out late tonight. Somebody on Patreon with the name Brewface. I think I know who it is, but we're going to respect their anonymity.
Anonymity?
So much for a one-take show.
See an enemy?
Privacy.
Ryan knows all the words, the best words.
So he pledged $15. A puck went out his way to the island. And then dear friend of the show and occasional Patreon bonus episode contributor, Errol, he pledged $10 a month. So we thank him. And that gives him live access and additional content and access to any live shows we do.
And to us personally as well, but that's just for Errol.
Yeah.
He was an original host on the show. You should give him a little kudos for that. He was on episode 1.
Man, it's like those weird throwaways during pilot season. I was on that show with Sheila and Errol. Who the f*** are those guys?
I don't want to see you guys traded up, but...
You've evolved
It's
quite
certainly a
bit.
sexier podcast.
It's a classier show.
Yes.
So if you want to, if anybody else was on the show, wants to contribute to Patreon, or you just like the show, patreon.com/pucksonnet.
You should do like a BuzzFeed list of all our guest hosts.
In terms of what, hot or not?
Sure.
No, just a list of them, a review.
Drunkest?
Would you swipe this podcast host?
Hey, listeners, tweet us your favorite Black Ace or former host. We'd like to know who might show up.
You know,
The Christmas
former
We gotta go up
guest
against. I'm
star.
not going up against Kirk McLean and Kyle Wellwood.
You know what?
My mom loves Kirk McLean. Oh man.
Oh, you had a great. You were noticing something on Bumble as of late with Kirk.
Oh yeah, Kirk McLean. I said to Ryan, Kirk McLean is like the new Tiger.
And if you don't know, if you're not on Bumble, guys would
Bumble or Tinder, guys.
They pose when they go to Thailand or Africa or whatever. They have like the tiger that's like medicated, sedated.
Kids out there listening, I know you are. Please, I've been to Thailand.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
It's real douchey.
It's really douchey, and it's kind of messed up.
But like
with the animal cruelty.
every
and such.
guy like has either like climbed Mount Kilimanjaro or here they are posing with a tiger. But what I've seen a trend lately is that every guy is seemingly posing with Kirk McLean, and that's
He's very accessible.
I was like, Kirk McLean has a lot of profiles out there.
So when you guys said he's the new Tiger, I assumed you meant Tiger Williams for the longest time. Like, was that a thing for a while?
No, it's just
Tinder?
Well, McLean, he's living in the city, and he's an everyman, so you can.
I guess I need to put
everywhere
that as one of my Bumble photos now. I don't have any mountains or tigers or Kirk McLean.
Yes,
so you got no action, Paulie.
No, I'm not that successful on the Bumble, and that's
you have
why.
a photo with Kirk McLean.
I know.
I'll give it.
What I said. I'll have to.
Yeah,
I don't look very good.
We should do
day.
that, and we'll see who has the best luck because we're all in the Kirk McLean photo. Dave was not there. He was winning his. You were playing in the.
I lost.
I was gonna get.
Thanks for bringing that up.
I was thinking about that. I wanted to get Kirk to say like a good job, an attaboy, and a better luck next year message for you. I fell through the cracks. We had to ask him those really depressing questions.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
Well, he asked us to prompt him.
Yeah. You want to ask about 94?
Anyway,
so there's hockey.
And there's hat tricks. Everyone's got a hat trick.
I thought they were all in Washington.
Yeah.
Most of them are.
Yeah.
Well, the Capitals won tonight. It's Monday, and the Capitals, they beat somebody. I can't remember who.
They're beating teams left, right, and center.
But Ovechkin doesn't have any goals. Or
Oh, so
assists.
another President's Trophy season.
Yeah, we thought they were done with that, but it looks like they're back.
And a first-round exit to go along with it.
Yeah.
Before I really want to talk about the Canucks off the top because that was something we haven't seen in like.
They won the first 4 games of the season last year. We've seen this movie before.
Not when they were. Those were when they were clinging
Dave made a good point. Oh shit. Yeah,
People are really excited. I was listening to 1040 this morning.
Really?
And they were like, "This is so promising." And I was like, "Is it?"
PMAC.
It's one game.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was fun.
I thought you were saying they're number one.
It could have been taken two ways, but it was fun. It was fun to watch. Don't get me wrong. I am hopeful.
It was one exciting, fun game to watch where they skated and lines made sense. And instead of putting Derek Dorsett with the Sedins or Derek Dorsett to fight, he played a shutdown role. And he literally, I was there with the
Boeser sitting for Dorsett worked out for a big Travs.
Dorsett was quite the controversial character this weekend.
He got booed at his player introduction. Number 15 from, I don't know, Climax, Saskatchewan, wherever he's from.
That was Willie.
Derek, yeah. I know. Derek got booed, and I was like, oh.
Not Brock Boeser.
Yeah. Now sitting Brock Boeser.
But
Boo.
tomorrow he'll be like Ring of Honor material.
He's going out there.
Everyone gets in. Joseph Baranek is up there.
But
42.
That's for me.
Or 43? I don't remember.
Artem Chubarov is going up next week.
I'm personally a little upset about something, and I tweeted this, but there's some people here that are from Abbotsford. We don't have a lot to be proud of.
Some people?
I'm trying to be vague here.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot being from Abbotsford. We got Abbotsford Killer. We have
Terry Driver.
We got the Bacon Brothers. We have the fact that Chad Kroger decided to live in our town.
You had the Heat.
Ryan's Oma and
That
Opa.
went well.
We don't got much. That's not a lot.
They got one Cactus Club. I would be proud of that.
But we had Jake Vertanen. And now Jake Vertanen from Abbotsford, from the same high school I went to. Opening night, he's now billed from New Westminster, British Columbia.
Rebrand.
Did he move?
No, I'm pretty sure he's always been presented as from New West because he was born in New West.
From the Royal City.
I didn't know that. I believed he was from Abbotsford, and I don't know if this is Ryan's propaganda.
He grew up in Abbotsford, but he was born in New West. It's one of those like Kirk McLean, I think.
That was my home rink for a while. I played in the Queen's Park Arena. My home games
Well,
were in
now
New West.
I drive through New West every day.
Oh, great. So we all got a bunch of Jake for New West.
Such a drive-through city.
I seem to remember having a hockey
The
card.
highway's backed up. I got to go through New West.
When I was younger, though, they used to list like sometimes birthplace and hometown to give like. So Kirk McLean, I feel like he was from Kingston or he was born in Kingston, but he was raised somewhere else. I mean, it's not that uncommon for players to sort of have a
he's a
twofer when it comes to hometown.
He's a Scarperet kid.
There you go. I don't remember.
So
Hockey DB and Wikipedia says New Westminster.
From the Royal City.
We used to be the capital.
It's way cooler than from Abbotsford.
And hey, some of us are from
subdivisions
I don't
and
know.
churches.
Abbotsford sounds so small town, like Ontario.
Why do you think I was so excited to be in the big city tonight?
From the 2017 video store capital of British Columbia, Abbotsford.
Well, it'd be like if we presented Ryan and said he was from Calgary.
Oh, that's disgusting.
They tried to rent me a VHS last time I was in Abbotsford of Speed.
Hey, we just got that there.
It just came out. This Sandra Bullock, she's got a bright future ahead of her.
She's got the jam.
Oh,
baby.
that's that movie, The Bus That Couldn't Slow Down, right?
Don't spoil it for me. Abbotsford hasn't seen
And
it.
then there's a boat that couldn't.
So Connor McDavid is good at hockey. We saw that on opening night.
But then we saw a guy, the Selke, the leading Selke nominee, Derek Dorsett, shut him down completely.
Made a scary face at him.
He got McDavid got a slashing call at the end of the game. He was so riled up by him.
I heard Derek Dorsett called up Cole Castles before the game, and they gave him some tips.
How did you do it? How did you shut him down in Penticton that one time?
But I had an absolute, again, it's one game, but it was very promising.
So I had reliable sources that told me that people were drinking that heroin beer pretty hard at the game on Saturday, and that the Alberta clans that were at the game were a little lit up. Is that true?
What's a heroin beer? Because this week I thought a vaporizer was the same as a humidifier.
We talked about the nitro beer at the Saddle Dome, but somebody corrected us last week that it's actually called heroin beer.
Oh.
And if we're talking about things, I have a couple very good Edmonton Oilers fan interactions I want to share. But if we're talking about rinks in Calgary, they are heavily promoting this Bill Smith guy for mayor of Calgary.
Oh, I saw the photos.
And they're promoting
Calgary.
him.
Yeah, they've gone full in on the politics in
Like,
Calgary.
that is like the
Mayor
polar
Nenshi.
opposite of Nenshi.
Yeah.
Nenshi is persona non grata at the Saddle Dome.
Big time. And this is like the whole ring, the whole jumbotron.
Right.
Bill Smith for mayor.
Make Calgary great again. It was really disgusting.
It doesn't get more Abbotsford than Bill Smith.
Make the Saddle Dome great again. Sorry, was that what it said?
Make it smell.
There's going to be a travel ban on all non-hockey fans.
Well, there wasn't a travel ban here because a shit ton of Oiler fans were here.
Yeah.
And we were in line, and they gave you a free beer to get in on opening night. And behind me, you got to drink this beer to get in.
But I've been sober for 15 years. Don't care. This team's so bad this year. You got to have a drink.
It's like 3D goggles.
So I'm standing there, and I'm with my roommate Michael, and behind us are a bunch of Oiler fans, and we're not really talking, we're just listening, and I hear this one. It's a bunch of guys talking. Oh yeah, you look pretty good there. We'll just call him Phil. Oh yeah, Phil, you're looking. Phil, you're looking pretty good, huh? You're looking sharp. Looks like you might be able to pick up a good-looking young man tonight. And I'm like, okay, I don't know, maybe they're gay. It's like, because I hear that's what they like to do here in Vancouver.
Oh, no.
Oh.
You're like, oh, cool, progressive. Oh, nope, same old Oiler fans.
Welcome.
And so they, these Oiler fans, they've won all their Stanley Cups. So these guys are walking around, they're high-fiving everything, and they're just wooing. And I'm just like, this is getting bad. So anyway, there's a guy in front of me, and he was an Oilers fan. He had a Canuck girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he's doing the wrestling chants, and the Oilers scored right off the bat, and he's yelling his lungs out, and then it gets quiet, and he starts doing a "why so quiet" chant, right? And I'm like, oh great, well I'm gonna have a couple beers and mess with this guy.
Yeah.
And so the Canucks get that goal back, and I'm just yelling so loud, cheering on Bo Horvat, and I'm just like, oh holy cow, is it loud in here now? And he's just like. And then they score again. I'm like, oh, it's just so loud. So go. And then this is my other Oiler interaction. They go out. They're down 2-1 second intermission. I go to the men's room. And there's no in and out privileges at Rogers Arena anymore.
Nope.
And I walk into the men's room and I'm like, somebody's smoking in here.
Having a dirt.
Somebody's in the men's room in the stall having a dart.
Crushing dirts.
And this is the greatest. It doesn't bug me. You know what?
It was the Oilers fan.
Gets better. It was a different Oilers fan. But I'm like, I don't, if somebody's smoking, it's not a big deal to me. You know, they're not offending me. And so I'm not bugged by it. And I look over and the door swings open. Oilers guy, McDavid jersey on, dart hanging out, wasted. And he just goes, oh, hey, this boy's got to get her going here. Got to try and win one in the third. And I'm like, this is the greasiest scene I've ever seen at a Canucks
Yeah.
game. And that's my interactions with the Oiler fans.
Alberta in the house.
So
They're
they
not
won.
allowed in the house with those boots on.
The other thing I noticed about the game on Saturday was that the Sedins aren't playing very much anymore.
No, and that should be par for the course.
They've been reduced to fourth line specialists.
Well, in that particular game, you could count it up to there was a lot of line matching, or at least that checking line trying to go up against McDavid's unit, and it worked fairly well throughout the evening. McDavid was scoreless and -1, but yeah, they were the lowest ice times other than Jake Virtanen, who played 7 minutes and change, I think, by the end of the night, and they were around 13 themselves. But I mean, yeah, you keep them. There's other nights they're going to play more, but they've been overused the last 4 or 5 years.
I started going through the ice times last year, back when they were still a chance, and they were playing like 18, 19, sometimes like 21 minutes a night.
Yep.
And now they're not, and they look a lot faster. They look a lot more threatening, and it's great to see.
Yeah, put them in a situation where they can succeed.
Yeah, and then you think you almost don't want anybody but Thomas Vanek to play on that line because he's old and out of shape and gassed. And if you don't want to have Brock Boeser stapled to the bench playing 13 minutes in that kind of role. So it's almost like who's the interchangeable guy that you don't know who it is because it's not going to be Thomas Vanek. You want to have a bum that's not going to play that much play with the Sedins almost.
Not a bum, but someone who's on that.
You don't want Brock Boeser playing with the Sedins.
Someone who can keep up with the Sedins.
We could. They're not that fast.
And that's what I mean. That's the most positive way to say it.
I probably could.
I think so. You're really good. Dave is a really good hockey player.
Yeah.
I am very good at hockey.
And
hey,
golf.
what happened to that list of people that I'm better at hockey than?
Our listener Anders
That's
made
a
that.
BuzzFeed list.
Oh, yeah.
Is there? I don't think are you gonna put the Sedins on the list?
No. No.
Dave is on par with old Sedins. That's what he's saying.
37-year-old Sedins.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I say old Sedins.
In terms of skating speed, that would make me fast for a layperson, but slow for an NHLer, which I feel like would be about accurate.
How about clutch and grab Sedin? Every night they're getting 2 minutes for interference or hooking.
We haven't seen that movie yet. That's coming in 2 years when they re-sign their contracts.
No, that was the first couple of years. Remember?
Oh, when they were getting clutch and grab?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm talking about them doing it because they can't keep up anymore.
Oh yeah.
So the Washington Capitals, they're great. Ovechkin is scoring all the goals.
Yeah.
You gonna keep this up? Is he gonna get back to 60?
He didn't get any points tonight.
That's over. Pack it up.
No.
Pack it up.
Guy's done.
Scoring streak is over.
Well, that's how you know that these players. That's how you tell an elite player. Connor McDavid, elite. Alex Ovechkin, elite ×2. Wayne Simmons, most elite player I've ever heard of, and Brandon Saad, also elite. So if you're not getting 3 goals opening night, what's the point of even trying? Okay, fine.
That's it.
That's it. And no need to chime in on that one.
I let you hang there. I thought PMAC was going to say something. No?
What? You can't hear?
Paul hasn't heard a single
I'm having
thing
a lot of
we've
issues
said
with
all
my
night.
pots, and they're blinking, so it's not even just
He's just got sparks coming out. Anyway, so yeah, the Blackhawks, that was the game that I've been kind of waiting to talk to you guys about, is that 10-1 debacle at the United Center.
I've heard all about that.
I recently learned that Sidney Crosby has never won a hockey game at the United Center.
Really?
And so if there's some sort of Stanley Cup final between the two, we're putting all our money
in the Chicago pot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I still think that it's an anomaly. I think the Blackhawks are in for a world of pain this year.
The Blackhawks just lost tonight to the Toronto Maple
They
Leafs.
coughed up a third period lead. They played some guy in goal that I've never heard of before in my life.
Are we going to play a game of try to guess who the Blackhawks backup goalie is?
Was it a Mason?
No, it wasn't a Mason. He was a Forsberg.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, his last name is Forsberg.
That's news to me.
And he was not very good. I watched the third period, and some leaky fucking goals went in on that guy.
Yeah, well, those guys don't have spleens.
This is that's true. They're anti-spleen, but no, they just it just the bygone days of the Patrick Laleems and Jocelyn Thibaults and the Razor Ray Emerys.
Cristobal Huet.
Cristobal
Emery
Huet
could still back somebody up.
Oh,
Who could?
Ray
Emery, he's only only about 33 or 34.
I feel like he's probably hanging out with an Eastern European gangster. Like he's a body man for like some crooked oil billionaire. That's what Ray Emery's up to in my world.
And playing for his hockey team?
Yeah, Salmet Ufa. He won't wear a fucking hat for anybody. That's what Ray Emery's up to. But he'll fight. If anybody messes with his owner, he'll fight him. Fight him right now. So that kid that Vegas went and got, that Shipyanov or whatever.
There's already controversy
He wants
there.
to leave.
Well, the GM, or no, his agent put out a statement that it's like, he doesn't want to go to the KHL. Everything's fine.
Right.
But George McPhee has made this weird logjam of like he drafted too much defense, or he expansion drafted too much defense. And so he's got this guy, the leading scorer in the KHL last year.
Okay.
He was making like $4.5 million a year. He's in the minors, and so is Shea Theodore, from the guy from the Ducks.
Is it just a paper thing though?
I think it's a paper thing, but now I think he's kind of GM'd himself into a corner where he's like got to get rid of these assets.
But has this KHL guy not played well in the 2 games that they've had? Is that?
I don't think he's played the 2 games.
Well, then what are they doing?
They've screwed things up. There's no roster spots for him, and they don't want to lose guys on waivers.
Oh.
Yeah, but this is like a perennial talent.
Well, but the
this
Vegas
guy has scored so many goals in the plane crash.
So
league.
this guy just doesn't want to stay in the AHL?
Would you?
Well,
No.
I don't even know where in the AHL
If I could
he
play in
is.
St. Petersburg with all that good ketchup and making $10 million a year, what the hell would I?
He's playing for I think it's the Chicago Wolves
Well,
or the farm team.
It's a
yeah.
big city.
North Chicago, up by the airport.
But it's still like it's not about the
I'm
city.
sure there's
you're
a
in.
train.
It's the competition. He came to play in the show.
Is he outclassing the competition?
I don't know enough about this. Are you? Because I've seen video of him playing. He played preseason games at least.
I've
Yeah.
only seen his name on paper or Twitter.
Shipyanov.
Yeah,
And I think you're mispronouncing it
Shipyanov.
from all the letters that I've seen.
Kevin B. Kexia.
It's a matter of McPhee wanting to get those 5th and 6th round picks for these extra assets as opposed to just waiving guys that will potentially go for nothing.
The Canucks should
Is
pick
it
this
too
guy.
early for a trade?
Well, people know he's in this situation now, so
Yeah.
everyone's lowballing him. So
Yeah.
it's one of these situations like, Duchesne or whatever now, not quite at that level, but just where like the GM's holding out like, no, this player is worth this much, not taking into
He
account.
must have some loser on his roster
Supply-
that he could
yeah.
trade.
Lucas
Pretty sure
Spiza?
Derek Englund's on that
Yeah.
team.
Supply and demand, comes into play with a lot of these deals where you look at like the Christian Ehrhoff trade with, there are times where just like you lose a guy and you get something back and it's not much,
Yeah.
but it's better than nothing.
But guys, you don't want to mess with a winning formula. These Golden Knights are undefeated.
They brought the white gloves back. They look terrible.
I like
That's
the
all I
white
want
gloves.
to talk about.
Yeah,
like
but you
the-
have that Mr. Clean Magic eraser that makes the scuff marks disappear.
I think
Sure.
I think the best thing you're gonna, if you can, we all have access to Geeta's Game Center. Watch a Vegas Golden Knights regional game.
Yeah.
It's on Root. I think it's on Root or something. Root
Got
Sports.
that weird AT&T logo in the corner.
But the best thing is, one of their big sponsors is this like, it's like some sort of drink or formula or something, or like some sort of concoction you buy, and it's called Never Too Hungover.
So Vegas.
So it's like the Never Too Hungover intermission report, Never Too Hungover James Neal report.
It's like before UFC went super mainstream, and it was the Lucky's malt liquor replay.
Exactly. Yes. So everything is never too hungover in Vegas.
It was also fun to see on Twitter a bunch of fans tweeting the Vegas account going,
Yeah.
what channel can I see the Knights on? What
Aw.
channel can I see the Knights on? And they were like, it's channel 1064 in the Las Vegas area or whatever.
It's like the hotel CCTV. feed.
Yeah.
The Welcome to Las Vegas channel.
Hit the up arrow 7 times and it goes to the alternate menu, and it's with the pornography.
It's mixed in with the pay-per-view and the room service orders.
Hey, do you remember that guy that
You can order a club sandwich and watch James the Real Deal Neal score a goal.
Do you guys remember that Pittsburgh sports reporter that said like Vancouver was the most dangerous city he'd ever been in?
Yeah.
He just followed the podcast on Twitter.
He said Vancouver was the most dangerous city.
He said that all the Olympics he's been to, Russia, Atlanta with terrorism.
Yeah,
and
2010
Was he
was the
staying at the
worst.
Backpackers Inn?
You think?
The Ivanhoe Hotel?
He basically made it seem like this was a hellhole because there was some drunk guys yelling on the Canada line home.
Dear.
Or something.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Sorry, Pittsburgh is a very
I've
liberal
been to
city.
Me,
Detroit,
but I used to
okay?
live in Burnaby at that time.
Is that the night you let your hair on fire?
Hey.
The next station is Gilmore. Oh no.
Things get sketchy down there.
Those Ronning boys are at it again.
Let me just hold on to my belongings a bit tighter. Oh,
Hey, I got mugged in Burnaby once. That happened, actually. I was getting on the SkyTrain after working a Whitecaps FC game when they used to play out at Swangard, and they weren't a real thing back then.
So you
wasn't
were,
there that guy that tried
were
to...
you getting on Patterson Station?
And there was the people that tried to steal your phone.
Yeah.
The apple picking at Joyce Collingwood.
That was, yeah. That
On the
was,
way to
that's
softball.
That's South Van, though.
yeah,
Yes.
that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't want to go around those parts.
No.
You're like that beat reporter in Pittsburgh. You just... No.
dangerous.
It's not your cup of tea.
That Joyce Collingwood thing, that really backfired on that poor kid. He ended up getting hit pretty hard.
Speaking of getting hit pretty hard, Peter Forsberg, another Forsberg, has sort of shit on Matt Duchene.
Another guy who used to play for the Colorado Avalanche, who was a bad GM in pro sports.
Yeah.
Because Moto got relegated under his watch.
Really?
Yeah. Never happened in 70 years.
No wonder the Sedins are like, maybe we'll just retire as
They
Canucks.
just drove that right off a freaking cliff. He blamed his bad foot.
So if they go back, who's the coach? Who's the GM? Because you know the Sedins are going to take over that organization.
They got to do what
Rock,
Edmonton
paper,
did.
scissors.
They got to do what Edmonton did. Just nobody who used to play for the team can run the team.
Actually, that's a really
You got to get away from that old boys club. Like you just can't.
Yeah.
The second that Edmonton finally gave that up was the second things turned around. Also, they drafted Connor McDavid. Like that definitely helped a little.
Gifted because of the Edmonton
Hacked.
Oilers. Because of the Oilers,
Divine intervention.
You can't. They changed the lottery rules so that the worst teams are getting gifted with McDavid.
Yeah.
I
heard Putin was behind that actually.
Yeah, he orchestrated Facebook messages that
if we send Connor to cold country like
Yakupov
Canada,
can come home.
He come to KHL because he used to cold.
They're acclimatizing him. Yeah.
Hey, Nail Yakupov is
Yeah.
looking good.
Scored
in
a goal.
Colorado Avalanche.
Colorado Avalanche are 2-1.
They're a good-looking team. You know who's a really exciting-looking team? And I watched this for... I don't know why.
The Canucks.
The New Jersey Devils.
Besides the Canucks, the New Jersey Devils.
They do. They look good. I saw a bit of that today, too.
Oh, they look good. They beat the shit out of Buffalo, and
Yeah.
they played the Colorado Avalanche.
Okay.
And they have Nico Hirscher, which both play-by-play and color man on the Jersey MSG broadcast were saying his name differently.
Ooh.
So it's like one guy's like Hirscher, the other one's like Heeshear, and I'm like, what the?
It's Hirscher.
Hirscher, but he was QB in that power play, and they're so fast. And
Taylor Hall's not hurt yet.
Yeah, and they have Adam. They have all these players that are ready to play there, and they have a goalie, and they have the Hobie Baker, that Will Butcher kid who won the Hobie
everybody
Baker.
loves Will Butcher.
Yeah, playing defense. So they didn't make the PON 10, but I would say watch some Devils games.
Oh man, we love watching New Jersey in the playoffs. We grew up on that shit.
They had Claude Lemieux there.
It's just like it's even when they were not boring. They're just like
When were they not?
They're just the tofu of hockey teams. It's like the Devils.
Keita, by all counts, they were not boring on Saturday and earlier today. That's in their entire illustrious.
But when we were growing up in 1991,
the 94 series they had against the Rangers was pretty exciting. Hockey.
Immortalized in Seinfeld.
Right.
I was gonna say the '90s Devils brought us some great Seinfeld.
I
content.
can't believe that's a franchise that in our youth won 3 Stanley Cups.
The 95 Devils were as boring as it gets, and that's what made everyone real boring.
So
Because they're like, we need to model ourselves after that.
This ain't your dad's Devils.
Yeah, this ain't your daddy's New Jersey Devils.
So I got Mike Camilleri is hiding out there, hiding in plain sight.
No, he's back in L.A.
Oh, it all came full circle
yeah,
for him.
he sure is wearing Mike Camilleri's old number 13.
Ooh. Ooh, I don't like that.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't wear number 13.
It's all full circle till he gets back to Calgary.
It's true. Mike Camilleri.
Speaking of Calgary, Jaromir Jagr has become the most instantaneous fan favorite there.
He doesn't even have to play.
He just...
He's like Harvey the Hound.
But you know what?
Kind of is Harvey the Hound.
It doesn't matter. It's going to happen every year he continues to play, wherever he continues to play.
Well, he says 99.9% sure this is last NHL hockey season, but He's got some good
Mayor Nimshi wants to ride Yermer Yager out of town on a rail. Do you want Mayor Nimshi or do you want Yermer Yager?
What kind of platform is that to run on?
This message approved by
Mayor Nimshi hasn't even heard of Yermer Yager.
I was browsing the Flames subreddit and they were explaining, some locals were explaining the mayoral race, and it's like this Bob Smith guy who might just be made up. Like we'll put Bob.
It's Gary Bettman in a wig.
Yeah, it's him and Ken King are just like, we'll just put this name here, Bob Smith. It's
a nice strong oil baron name.
Is this like that Vancouver mayoral year where they had two guys running with the exact same name? What was it, Peter Ladner? There were two Peter Ladners that just like messed everybody up.
Yeah, but Peter S. Ladner was way better than Peter R. Ladner. And I'll burn your house down if you disagree.
Made up person just to draw some votes.
They're saying this made up guy in Calgary. It's like he has no policy whatsoever.
Just I like hockey.
It's like
arena.
New arena. Rink.
Arena. Bob Smith called Yermer Yager and was like, won't you come play hockey? Mayor Nenshi was like, you shouldn't do that. Vote Bob Smith for
This
mayor.
message is approved by Bob Smith for mayor and Ken King of the Calgary Flames Sports and Entertainment Organization.
Yermer Yager. Mayor Smith was best, bro.
So listen. I don't know who's going to win that election, but we need to keep.
I feel bad for this Nemchi guy because he sounds like he's got some balls on him.
Everybody likes Mayor Nenshi.
Yeah.
He's a progressive mayor in Alberta, though. So
that's a tough gig.
He's got a crowd that love him, and he's got a crowd that hate him.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I think the sheen has worn off him a little bit now.
Well, you need that new rink. I mean, have you seen the Nickelback concerts in Edmonton? They're not even coming to Calgary anymore. They got to get those Nickelback concerts.
No, it's that nice new rink. They don't have to go outside. They can just walk in that underground city.
We've talked about this, Kraft Hockeyville. I don't know why they don't apply.
Calgary. We need a new rink.
They're out there. Gary's out there with a roller painting the saddle.
They got Lanny out there and Theo.
All the gang. We just talked about having balls. You're saying that in a text that Travis Green, apparently the saying around town is he's got brass balls willing to sit players.
Oh, that was who did I say? Somebody said it on like a post game show or something. It was Elliot Trudeau, Elliot Friedman. I'm a little drugged up because I've had a sinus infection all weekend.
PMAC sends me. I text PMAC this morning. I'm like, oh, hey, did you have a good Thanksgiving? Did you miss a dinner? It's like, took some pills, drove out there. And I'm like, by God, if I ain't the most Motley Crue Nikki Sixx thing I've ever heard PMAC say.
I made it to Thanksgiving dinner and I enjoyed it.
He's Rocky Mountain High on that NyQuil life.
Just drive.
But yeah, no, I think it was Elliot Friedman said he had brass balls.
Yeah.
One of the guys on the post game show on CBC, and I was like, can you say that on CBC?
I was not.
The new CBC.
They had Gian Kameshi on that network for a long time.
We're looking for guys with brass balls on the post game show.
Oh,
I got that on my resume.
Get ready, brass balls.
Elliot Friedman, though.
1983 to present.
New friend of the show, Elliot Friedman. I ran into him in Milan this summer.
Oh, yeah?
Chatted him up.
Really?
Over some pizza. Yeah.
No way. Really?
It was the weirdest
That's
thing.
freaking random.
I was only in Milan for like 2 or 3 hours waiting for
I was
train.
traveling in Milan with Elliot Friedman.
I sit down.
You know how it is.
I had a slice of pizza and a coffee or something in the very back of this restaurant at the train station. And right next to me, Elliot Friedman sits down.
By himself?
With his wife and his son, who we got to chat with too. But like I did a double take and he's wearing like a Hockey Night in Canada jacket. And I was like,
so you know who he is.
Yeah, that's not just a dude that looks like Elliot Friedman. That's him.
Elliot Friedman.
He's a good guy though. We talked for like 20 minutes and he
Did
had
you
only
slip
seen
him a
me in the hallway
business card?
before.
Hey, well, he knew
I
who
didn't have it.
He recognized you from work.
He pretended to. I'm like, oh yeah, we've run into each other, but we've like passed each other. Maybe said hey in the hallway.
Hey, I got this podcast.
He's not in Vancouver very often.
We need Elliot on the. We'll get him to Skype in, talk about who's got brass balls this week in the Eastern Conference.
He told me to look him up when he's in town, and I can ask him about how the rest of his vacation went. So
should we get
him on the pod?
Should we mess with this Pittsburgh guy? Like say like hey, we're talking about you on the show right now.
I think so.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
What else did we get a podcast to do other than to mess with people?
Is he? Is he one of those guys that follows everybody like Zach Boychuk, or is he like legitimately interested?
Hey,
in what
Pagani,
we
I
do?
got a flight to the coast coming up in a little bit for work, and guess what? I'm wearing open-toed shoes. Suck on that.
Is our podcast now for cyberbullying?
It really is.
Oh dear.
Why not?
Why
I mean,
not?
The
Let's
kids
go.
are the kids are big into cyberbullying now.
It's big. It's very.
It's very
It's
presidential.
very 2017.
That's right.
Do you guys follow the Canucks? Anybody? Well, do you guys have Snapchat?
I follow the Canucks on
Do you
Twitter.
follow them on Snapchat?
No.
No.
All this Canucks Snapchat is just like practice scrums, and then whoever has the Snapchat just replaces the microphones with like popsicles or ice cream cones or hot dogs.
Hilarious
And
hijinks.
it's like that
That seems very young.
that's what the kids like. That's how the kids follow the Canucks.
Ben Hutton is lit, fam.
I believe that was one of the things. that they talked
JT Brown, Tampa Bay, speaking of young guys making a difference, raising a fist
Yeah.
during the national anthem.
I
like it.
I don't want to. I mean, everybody's peeking and freaking about things right now, so I don't want to go too much into it. But I mean, from what we've heard, he consulted the Lightning, so you can rule out the whole being a distraction in the room.
Okay.
And he consulted with military. He decided not to kneel, and he figured that he would the old fist in the air.
It's hard to kneel on a hockey bench.
They'll just think you're tying your skate extra tight.
Yeah. Well,
God
okay.
bless him. He's just tying it tight. He's going to be ready to play.
But I think it's that much more impressive because people go, why aren't other, especially, black hockey players doing this? But most of the ones in the NHL right now are Canadians, if I'm not mistaken. How many American-born? There aren't that many.
Joel Ward.
relative.
What's Wayne Simmons?
He's from out Greater Toronto, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And
So, like, for him to do this, it is not just, like, in a sport that is primarily Caucasian players, but as an American-born, there's that much more weight on him. Because I think as a Canadian,
it's kind of
like, I would love to do it if I was in that situation with a teammate or something. But as a Canadian, I wouldn't, like, it's overstepping, like, it's not my place, especially in someone else's anthem.
Yeah.
So there's that much more respect on him because, like, he's got to do it. He's one of the few guys who can really do it and fully be behind it.
And he's been really well spoken and eloquent about it. And
Yeah.
he's talked about. I mean, he's already said that there's been bullshit with death threats and racism. But I mean,
it was gross on Twitter. I looked and just
it looked
get him out of
like
town.
Joel
was
Ward
like,
just scored against the Boston Bruins. That kind of bad
Oh,
stuff.
that was bad. Oh, God.
But yeah, especially this weekend with the PR stunt with Vice President Pence showing up to the football game and
But using a
posting
4-year-old photo.
posting old photos, and then
Here's one of me at the game. I'll just post that. No,
they told the press in the car that came with him, don't even go into the stadium. He's going to be right out. Don't worry about it. That it was staged.
pre-planned.
There's nothing.
The whole issue has just been so badly twisted and manipulated, and everyone's gotten away from what the heart of it really was anyways, and that's the worst part of it all.
They're reinterpreting it as something else to drive their base, and not even as it's a miscommunication. And it's sad that some people are doing it on purpose, and other people are doing it because people doing it on purpose have told them that it interprets as something other than what the players are representing.
Let's go back to hockey.
Are we going?
We're
to
still
Pittsburgh?
talking hockey.
Wait, are we going to Pittsburgh now?
What for? To mess with that guy?
Oh, okay, we can do that.
I'm really glad that.
No, isn't tomorrow the White House trip?
Oh yeah, but I don't want to talk about that.
Well, we'll
Okay.
talk about that next week when Sidney Crosby pies Donald Trump in
the only
face.
the only thing I'm waiting for is for him to incorrectly, like, we've been pretty political the last two shows, so I kind of wanted to keep it on a minimum.
Fair enough.
But I want to hear Trump mispronounce. I think if Steve Zerman was
Sidney Crosby.
I think he's gonna pronounce Evgeny Malkin's name perfectly just because of the Russian.
Hey,
ties.
what's up? I met you at. I had you at Vlad's house.
But we'll talk about it next week. But I'm really looking forward.
What's up, comrade?
To hearing him mispronounce hockey player
It'll be
names.
like Evgeny Malkin.
Gotta see if anybody does the show.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So we'll wait and
they're
see.
all going.
Yes,
Yeah.
if Sid's going there, I'll go, and that's their ticket to a three-peat. The last
If Ryan went, would we all have to go?
No.
see, because I'm that kind of captain. You guys do what you got to do. I probably wouldn't go either. I
wouldn't go.
It's not, I just
It's bad for my brand.
PMAC, you
I'll link arms with Paul.
PMAC, your old timey voice is needed for this because
Do we have an ad?
no, but the last time that 4 hat tricks were scored on opening night was 1917, and they listed these players, and just the teams. And I just wanted you to read these out loud.
Paul was alive back then.
In the old-timey newscast.
Yeah, because
Was
he
that
did it
last
last
show?
week with, Scotty Upshaw, 13th forward, signs with, who cares, St. Louis.
Yes, we all were big fans of that segment. Yes,
Can you lay some layers of like static over top of
Sure.
it? or
like a
something?
gramophone effect.
Yeah, play some music in the background, perhaps.
Yeah,
Like
Newsreel.
old JR
This
always
shit-
seems to have in the background.
anytime a player over the age of 35 does anything for the rest of the season, we got to do an old timey segment with T-Mac. Like if Yager scores goals
We're
one week.
throwing
or-
back to war times.
Well, he's really old. He's like,
I got to work on my Foster Hewitt apparently. So what do you just want me to
who are
read?
the players and who'd they play for?
Give us a summary. Dance, monkey.
I hate doing this stuff with this. Okay. Here's your scores for the night, or at least your top score. I can't do it, man.
Just
This is-
read
oh,
the
this-
names.
Yes, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not a monkey. I'm not doing this.
Jesus H. Harry Hyland of the Montreal Wanderers, Reg Noble, Toronto Arenas, Joe Malone, Montreal Canadiens, and Cy Denny.
Dennehy.
Denny, Ottawa Senators.
Oh, that was a terrible
People
read.
aren't named
They all
Reg
got
or
shot in
Malone
World War I.
anymore.
They all sound like guys that would get shot, in the
Yeah.
First World War.
Oh yeah, that old Harry Hyland award. He ran right into the mustard gas.
Reg.
Jeez.
Reg Noble worked as a
Oil baron.
never
Oh,
saw.
so he didn't have to fight in the war. He had a club foot.
There's not too much. It felt really good to have hockey to watch again.
Yeah.
A lot of teams do not like the Habs are kind of really starting to look messy. And,
Told ya.
Yeah, and the New York Rangers are starting to look. So they got a shutout against the Habs.
Yeah.
And the Toronto Maple Leafs look incredible, and it's just very exciting to watch.
So that coming too. So the only real surprise to
Is that Patrick Marleau's not injured?
and that Vancouver's on pace for an 82 win season.
And Bo Horvat, 164 goals. You guys have any takeaways from the first couple
From the week that was?
The week that was?
The week that was. My biggest takeaway is that goaltending is of paramount importance in the NHL. And when you have an opportunity to address it, you really, really need to.
Yeah.
And the Winnipeg Jets have a playoff team from tee to green, as they say, forwards and defense. They look great. They look dynamite. But they did not address the most important thing that they needed to in the offseason, and it's going to prevent them from making the playoffs this year. And ultimately, I think it should cost Cheveldayoff his job.
I think so. I mean, if you look the way that they held own, they
That
held
was a straight take, by the way.
Yeah, and they held the Leafs. They would look great against the Leafs on opening night, and they took the foot off the gas, and the Leafs were able to get some actual scoring chances, and they lit them up.
There were guys to be had. There were guys that were available, and they didn't get in on the act, and it's too bad.
Don't you expect a former goalie to be able to do a little better scouting out?
Who's a former goalie?
Cheveldayoff.
Really?
Wasn't that a goalie back
No,
then?
you're thinking of Tim Cheveldayoff.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Tim Cheveldayoff.
It's before my time, but
And
just barely in Dave's time, apparently.
I have
Late 80s.
I have very real memories of seeing Tim Chevelday play.
When you bring that up because there's a lot of teams that have problems right now. A lot of them are in Western Canada. Speaking of a goalie that just left Western Canada, does Ryan Miller's worth as to be a
Wait, where did he leave Western Canada for?
He's back
Western
in
America.
Anaheim.
Got it.
He's a former Canuck named Ryan, so he plays in Anaheim.
Yeah, but he ain't gonna play in the peg.
Oh.
There's no movie opportunities for Maureen out in the peg.
Well, yeah, but I mean, do you think he has a no trade clause?
Like they just send him there and he's just gotta eat it.
If you think
He'll retire.
if things become that big of a problem, these 1A goalies are going to start to be worth something.
He'll probably be starting for the Ducks by the end of the year.
They should have got in on the Scott Darling act.
Yeah.
Like they missed the boat. Like they just missed the boat. Like there were guys this year that were available.
Yeah.
Like Steve Mason is not an upgrade over what they had.
Do you know that because Steve Mason went from Philly?
Yeah.
Do you know who Philly signed?
They got Brian Elliott.
Brian Elliott.
And he's
still-
looked pretty good.
Really?
He's won a couple games.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he was starting.
Brian Elliott in stretches and in spurts can be very good. Steve Mason had one good season and then has had a couple of passable ones.
That was like 40 years
He's like
ago.
Cam Ward. He peaked at like 20.
He peaked as a rookie.
Yeah. He's like they're like the guys who have like that one hit sitcom and then just kind of mooch off of it.
Mad about you?
Yeah. Steve Mason is Paul Reiser.
We all know who he is, but we don't know anything he's done since.
Yeah, what has he done since?
It's probably a writer, producer.
Yeah, probably.
He's probably very funny, but when
Paul
it comes to a leading role or a starting
Scott
goaltender
Baio.
job, Are you gonna look up what? Oh,
Yeah, we're gonna look up.
Helen Hunt might be a good one too. She did a couple things after that.
Helen
and
won
then
an Oscar.
gone.
Yeah, she won an Oscar. She's an Academy Award
then
winner.
Gone.
But then resurfaced and got another Academy Award nomination very recently.
yeah,
What's
Paul.
she done
She
recently?
did this little indie movie where she like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, and she kind of like everybody's like, whoa, Helen Hunt.
What is
Ah,
she doing here?
I gotta see it.
Mad About You was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Hank Azaria.
I love Hank Azaria.
I have a conspiracy or maybe a conspiracy theory or something to think about. The Canucks are going to have a lot of cap space at the end of the year,
Oh no,
and there's somebody that hasn't signed a.
we're not gonna get John Hockey.
Why not?
The real
Because
Johnny Hockey.
He's,
Paul
go-
Reiser hasn't done too much. Sorry.
he's going to Toronto. He's gonna get Patrick Marleau money.
But could they afford him?
They'll make it work
Could they?
because they'll win a cup. He will put them over the top. I would do it. Could you imagine being from Toronto and then being the piece of the puzzle that wins the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, but Steven Stamkos saw that and he's like, meh.
Yeah, and
maybe
his
not."
life has been shitty ever since.
It's been all blood clots.
It's all that. It's all that swampy Florida tap water making your bones brittle.
Depends on the personality type, but yeah, I mean that's what I said. It was about Babcock. You went to Toronto because like all of the people that bring the Stanley Cup back to Toronto one day will get statues.
I
Do
was
they have cap space?
all 25 of the guys that are playing on
so.
the team that year.
I was very anti-Stamkos coming to Toronto because I didn't think it was a good fit for him because he's a Lightning guy and he should stay in Tampa.
'Cause-
He's got a good. But Tavares, that team is homeless. We don't know where they're going to play any given year. There's a lunatic in charge of it.
Yeah.
Like,
Their
get
pets'
the-
heads are falling
John
off.
Tavares, if you're out there listening, and I know you are.
Vancouver.
No, even worse. The Aquilinis will make you serve the pop and the peanuts in the
Second
intermission.
line center John Tavares.
No.
Only? That's all he could get is second line?
Go to Toronto, be the Kevin Durant to Matthews' Steph Curry. Score goals, kneel, don't kneel. I don't know. Just do
But
your
if
thing.
they sign Thornton next season.
They won't. Why would you want Joe Thornton?
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because Joe Thornton, here's the thing. We've talked about this before. He had just as many points last year as the Sedins.
He had as many goals as Ovechkin did so far this season.
And
He's-
no one said anything. It was crazy.
Did you guys hear about the Safeway Score and Win contest in San Jose this year?
They
No?
got one?
They have one, and you know how it works here. 5 goals, and somebody gets $1 million.
Yeah, those
Right?
Beraters, they were nervous.
In San Jose, 4 goals, and somebody gets $1
Oh.
million US. So that's like $3 million Canadian.
Cash money, baby.
And Joe Thornton plays there, and we all know how Joe Thornton reacts to 4-goal games. So it's just dangerous. I feel like somebody's being irresponsible.
Someone's going to have
in
$1
San
million
Jose this
in
year.
his cock out.
A lot of people.
Well, now we have a fair bit of listeners in the Bay Area and in the San
I
Jose
love the Bay Area. I've been there.
Yeah.
If somebody,
Fantastic spot.
if somebody can, go to whatever grocery store this is on our behalf, if you start doing that for us, and then cut us in, we'll send you a Pucks.net puck.
We want some of that Thomas Hurdle money.
No, we'll give you the Game Center login.
yeah, if
That Logan Couture money. That Jonas Donskoy money. I'm running out of San Jose Sharks money.
I'll just say this.
Chris Terry money.
Chris Terreri? What?
Chris Terry.
Old Devil.
Nope.
Oh.
That Christian Ehrhoff
That Joe
money.
Pavelski money.
Wow, I remember him.
He's still there.
Is he still
Is
there?
he not their captain?
He's the freaking captain.
No. Oh my God, who am I thinking of? Oh, I'm an idiot.
You're thinking of Ray Whitney.
Yes,
probably.
you are. He was also little and not there. Pat Falloon money.
Okay, at the end of the year, actually,
Some of that Brian Hayward money.
shit, they're totally gonna resign. They can totally sign John Tavares for 1 year at like $10 million. And
The Leafs?
and be okay.
They should, man.
Well-
Just a year at a time.
John, you should really consider it, bud.
Vancouver.
Do not go
British
play-
Columbia.
To reunite him
On
with
the-
Kadri.
Oh man, yeah, they're basically the same guy.
That's like the Sedins of the East.
Oh my goodness.
One and the same there.
Oh my goodness. I actually really like watching Nazem Kadri play now. He hits people. He's kind of won me over.
He's really changed his game, and it just, you know what? I think
God, I love the Leafs so much, and I hate myself so much for saying that.
well, it's like, what's to hate about them?
Nothing. I'm such a fan. They look
Kadri
great.
is a bit of a...
No, but he's changed his game. He's matured. He's
He's
not
got
a
some
shit.
sandpaper. He hit
I just
the
remember that
Sedins, though.
Sedin hit, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
anytime anybody hits those guys, we freak out.
bullshit. God damn it!
Burn them.
Yeah.
But no, the Leafs are just so fun to watch, and they're so fast. And they were playing 3-on-3 tonight against Chicago in
It was
overtime.
like laser beam hockey. It was just great. And Austin Matthews scored the game-winning goal.
Yeah,
it's like we're living in some kid's NHL is Chell simulation. Some get the Leafs to the cup, bro.
Do whatever it takes. I'll just sign Pat Marleau. It'll be fine. I'll just turn salary
And
cap off.
it's the career mode too, and he's in charge of Matthews. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna put the funkiest hat on this guy to walk into
Look
the
how
arena."
big my avatar's head
that
is.
was amazing.
He truly is Jack White's illegitimate son.
What happened if a bobblehead led the NHL in scoring? He's got a big head.
And Ovechkin has no head because it's on the top of that locker in that Mr. Big commercial.
That's right.
Which is
that was great.
My joke or the commercial?
The commercial. Your joke was okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad joke.
Anyway.
I think the only thing I want to talk about was Troy Stecher got in a fight, and I thought that was pretty great.
How did he play? How did he look? You look good?
You know what? There was a handful of times where the Canucks were playing this very aggressive style. Like they had two guys forechecking behind the net, which whoa. Look at Dave. Oh, I just got a message on Bumble.
That's a good enough place to wrap this up than any.
Yeah.
The night is young, Ryan.
Stecher, they were everybody was joining the rush. They were playing great. And Ryan, he rubbed out Ryan Strome, and Strome was giving him the business. And they fought, and he laid some punches. And he's little. And then he rode his bike home to Richmond at the end of the game.
Adorable.
He looked good
down
early
number
in the
5
fight.
road.
Yeah.
He rode his bike.
That was claim to fame was he was riding his bike from his parents' place in Richmond to Rogers Arena.
So don't hit him in the shoulder, kids.
That's a lot of bridges.
Give Troy Stecher a lot of room on the highway.
Give him a wide berth there down on the 99.
Counterflow late in effect purely for Troy. Go get him, Troy.
If you see a little guy on a BMX bike, it's probably Troy Stecher. He's doing ollies.
I think that's a good point to wrap it up. This week's podcast. Are you guys excited that hockey's back?
Yeah.
So excited.
Your game center is getting flagged so much because we're all logging into that at the same time.
I didn't even know Jonathan Bernier was on the Colorado Avalanche.
Was that fun?
That is fun.
That's a fun team too. Watch them. Watch the Devils. Watch anybody except
we got 10 more teams on the Pucks on Net watch list.
The watch list. Not to be confused with the PON 10. This is the Pucks on Net watch list.
Will Modo get back into the Elite League? Or are they destined to toil in the Allsvenskan?
Follow along weekly.
They brought in Rob Shrimp this year. Will that turn their fortunes around? Stay tuned for another episode of Pucks on Net where we find out what happens to Modo. Or not.
Enjoy Ryan's giggle here.
That'll wrap it up for this week's podcast. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at PucksNetCA or PucksNetCa. And if you want to support the show, rate and review it on iTunes. Heather, a smart Patreon backer, changed her review from a 4-star to a 5-star.
Oh.
I saw the 5 stars.
Well,
on
she
Twitter.
really wants to know what's going on in the Swedish Hockey League, so I provided.
And we will let her know next week.
And so, Heather, if you're still listening at this point, tweet or DM us or email us your address. I'll send you a PucksNet puck.
Hit up Ryan on Bumble, why don't you?
Or if you're not, I'll
that's
just.
the easiest way to contact.
That's the quickest way.
Yeah.
And then if you want, or just reply to me. I'll reply.
You'll
to her on Twitter.
recognize him because he'll be posing with Kirk McLean.
It's 2017. You don't need to tell people how to find you, Ryan.
Well, they're sending me their mailing address. I don't want Paul to see what it is.
Yeah, he'll just send anthrax to their house.
And happened that
You
one
can't
time.
say that.
I just did.
Cover blown. And a thanks again to Brewface and Errol for pledging money on Patreon.
Paul can't get on planes now.
Maybe Dave can't get on planes now.
Dude, I'm part Lebanese. I haven't been able to get on a plane.
You ever seen that guy go through a
Are
security
you
lineup?
just convenient?
Yeah.
Patreon.com/PucksOnNet.
Golly.
And our 2 new backers were able to hear us do 5 minutes for paying.
I got a fun thing that I want the kids to do.
What?
Ryan, just pull up the nose and land this thing quickly.
If you're out and about in the city of Vancouver and you're with Trevor Linden, send us the photo via Twitter to the Pucks on Net Twitter.
Why?
Because I just want to see how many we can get this week.
Is he just wait? Is he
I want to see how many listeners to our show can get a photo with Kirk McLean and send it back to us.
Well, you said Trevor
And tell-
Linden.
Oh, did I say Trevor Linden?
Yeah.
I meant
Kirk McLean. It's
They're
Kirk
both
McLean.
really handsome guys in their 40s. Hit them up on Bumble. Kurt McLean pictures, because that ties in what we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
Send them to the Pucks on Net and tell them that he's never met me, but tell him that Ryan, Geeta, and Paul sent you.
Yeah.
From Pucks on Net.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't want our puck. He's like, I don't need
If
this.
anyone can find the elusive Kirk McLean, we'll send you something.
He lives in Kits.
Paul will send you something.
I'm not sending anybody anything.
If I could move, I would try and tell you how it all gone to see. If I could move any shoe, I'd fly back to you. I'm in an awful way.
That's it. I've had it with this dump. We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off.